I'm Logan Loya.
I'm Zachary Finlayson.
I'm Brady.
And today we're going to be talking about things that are scary and things that really shouldn't be scary. Like, for example, like in Adventure Time, some of the episodes could get really horrifying when it's supposed to be like a lighthearted kid show.
I wonder if that's intended. Like I feel like that might have been just something to like. I don't know, but it is out of place.
Yeah.
It does seem out of place. I can understand that. But one I have that I think is a weird thing that's been it's honestly such a horror trope is grandmas. I don't know why grandmas are so scary. I think it's because like generally yes, grandma. Like you never seen a grandma horror movie?
Well, I mean, it's it's something that it's like a grandma is whatever you think, like a lighthearted woman, somebody who like will bake you cookies, and then it just doesn't seem right when they're horrifying or trying to kill you.
And I don't know if you've like ever spoken to someone who has severe dementia. Scary. It actually is terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's scary.
In a very weird way, it just seems like they're not completely not completely human in a weird way.
Yeah,
like they've lost a part of their humanity with their brain.
Yeah, my friend's grandpa, he recently passed away, but he had dementia, and it was weird.
Yeah, it's especially like with when you sleepwalk, it's kind of it's weird. It's not necessarily scary, but it's weird and off-putting when it happens.
Well, just all,
in my mind.
Yeah, it just all comes to like down to the fear of the unknown. We're just kind of scared of weird, random things that we just don't understand or know. Like, what's a good example? Like things that logically make no sense to be scary, but are like I'm sure we all have been scared when we were children, just looking in the dark corners of our room.
especially at like 3 a.m. when you get up to go get a glass of water and then you had to bolt out of the room when you turn off the light.
Or like you ever have it downstairs and then you have to turn off your light and run quickly up the stairs. Yeah.
But and then another kid show that is definitely more on the horror side, but is really messed up for being a kid's show is Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is one of the things that got me into horror. Like it's such a it's a good way to like pull it's like a fresh kid-friendly way to pull somebody into horror.
Yeah.
Because it has horror elements and it's scary. It's not too scary for children, but it's scary enough to like get them sort of into the horror genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of those creepy things do when you're just that young. Like a lot of the creepy stuff we're introduced to is when we were really young was through things we did know, like Minecraft. You ever seen those like Minecraft mobs if they were in real life, like the scary YouTube videos? Yeah.
Or like those horror horror videos.
Yes.
Those would scare me.
Oh man, it's been a while.
Yeah, that's oof. And then like I feel something that is definitely way overused now, but when it first happened, it's such an interesting topic. Is taking something like Chuck E. Cheese, which is this kid-friendly like a mascot, and then you find the animatronic and it's just horrifying in a way and you can't explain it, and then so people take that and then now you have like your Five Nights at Freddy's, Poppy Playtime, all those like type of like children's toys but evil and violent. I guess that kind of started with Chucky or Child's Play.
Well, animatronics in general are something that's scary that shouldn't be. Like they're meant to entertain kids, but like they're also really terrifying. They fall so deeply into the uncanny valley.
Like if you see an old, sorry to cut you off, but if you see like an old abandoned animatronic like with some of its like endoskeleton showing, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
What? You know, not topic. Clowns.
No, yeah.
Clowns.
I'm not really too scared of clowns, but I can see how somebody would be scared of clowns.
Yeah.
It's like, why would... maybe it's just the culture we come from, and we associate clowns with being scary because of all the horror movies, but, like, I can't imagine them being the face of like happiness and jokes and laughter like they like are portrayed as.
Which I feel like
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy is what started
Mm,
like the horrifying clowns, because he was a killer clown. I mean, he's like the first case of a killer clown, and it's wild. And well, maybe it came out before John Wayne Gacy, or maybe not. I'm not 100% sure.
I think John Wayne Gacy was first. I might be wrong on that, but I feel like he was.
Yeah,
What do you know? What year it came out?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Hmm.
But Brady, do you have any
Uh-huh.
like child-friendly things that you find horrifying or anything like that?
Yeah, there's this one movie made by Disney that was it's called The Black Hole. It was originally supposed to be like something to compete with Star Wars, and it's about these people who discover this ship just right next to a black hole, and yeah, it's kind of weird because they all I see is like robots and stuff on the ship, and it's yeah, and they find this one guy that's the only like human on this ship, and they talk to him for a bit, and like the entire ship is just not right. Like when a robot dies, they hold like a funeral for it, which isn't normal for like robots and stuff to do, because it's kind of just them working.
So it's kind of like robots taking over.
Not
in a way.
It's made to seem like that because the guy explains it as the robots killed everyone but him, and but turns out after a little bit through the movie, turns out the one guy left like lobotomized his entire crew and turned them into and gave them robot outfits to like to disguise them as robots.
That is Disney movie?
Yeah, it's a Disney movie. It's called.
That's wild.
That was wow.
That's but like another Disney movie that's horrifying is like James and the Giant Peach. I haven't seen a lot. I don't really know barely anything, but I know it's a stop motion movie that just isn't right, and it has some horrifying themes to it.
Sometimes those mediums are just scary in themselves because, like, stop motion, it's so hard to make things look realistic and human. And a lot of times you can come out looking pretty horror. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I always got, like, a weird, creepy feeling watching the original, like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It just always,
Yeah.
it always felt weird and just kind of like, oh, that's kind of creepy. It gives me the chills.
Yeah, like with Coraline, I feel something that works so well with its horror element is the stop motion.
Yes.
And then like you have Nightmare Before Christmas, which is also stop motion, and some of the puppets, like if I saw that standing in front of me like in a dark alleyway, I would be horrified. And it's really cool, and it's a nice way to see how like they can use these creepy monsters and make it lighthearted, or the opposite can happen with some other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how creepy monsters, like Nightmare Before Elm Street, the monsters, like, in it of themselves are creepy, but, like...
The...
Oh, no, sorry.
Like...
Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was just like,
that's what I was trying to say. But, like, the monsters in and of themselves are creepy, but they don't feel creepy. They feel
yeah.
pretty human and just, like, well, obviously not human, but very, like, alive and just friendly. Like, I'm not scared of them in the same way I would be. Even Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer seems scarier than the monsters.
Yeah, because they have such a lighthearted feel to them, and they are just there to give you a good old spook, but they're really nice people.
Yeah, because they're not intending to look innocent. They are intending to look how they are, but they also have this air of, like, kindness to them, or I guess community. And it's not this, like, it doesn't get trapped in this idea of, like, it's not pretending. It is what it is, and it accepts that, and it goes more than that, rather than trying to be what it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's just me, but the Santa from Night Before Christmas, he creeped me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
He's
big
more
nose and his like big old body. That like
Yeah, he was.
He's creepier than Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the I some of these like child-friendly things could be more scary than actual like horror films. Like the one you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Somebody lobotomizing people to make them look like robots is
yeah.
horrifying. That's such a why?
Also, sorry.
Yeah, the movie gets like way weirder at the end. Like as they leave, they get the main characters get thrown into the black hole because it's a black hole and it just absorbs them. And turns out the black hole was just a straight up portal to hell, and it's just like
What?
yeah, it is. It is such a weird movie. Yeah,
That-
and a Disney movie, which is weird.
Yeah, Disney can get really dark, and especially more recently. I mean, with Marvel, it's been getting a lot more dark,
Yes.
which is thank God. Marvel, I mean, Marvel does have its lighthearted stories, but
It needs it. Yeah.
it needs its dark spots. Like Daredevil Born Again is one of my favorite MCU projects I've seen, and it's such a gritty, dark story that Marvel needs.
Yeah.
Also, while we're talking about scary things from when we were kids that shouldn't be scary, Barney.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That dinosaur is
Oh.
terrifying. He looks like he's trying to eat my face.
Exactly.
Like,
What's his name? The Triceratops, the yellow one.
I don't know, but I can. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
freaked me out.
Dude,
Like, ugh.
because it's just really creepy, and
Really
then like
creepy.
another thing that's horrifying, probably not at the time, but a lot more now, is like Ronald McDonald.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because like he just has a very creepy design, and almost like similar design to Pennywise.
Who designed Grimace? That's my question.
That is a
He is
good
a
question.
pink blob, and he looks like if Barney was put in the microwave and nuked
you
for
have
a minute.
you have a burger like mayor. You have a bandit who steals burgers, a chicken, Ronald McDonald, and a purple blob.
I kind of like the.
Yeah.
What's the bandit's name?
Hamburglar.
Hamburger.
Yeah.
I love the Hamburger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Grimace was actually originally a like a villain. He like yoinked like I think like one time he kidnapped Merrimack Cheese, the cheeseburger.
Was he like before Ronald or before Hamburglar, or was he around the same time?
I think he was before.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's actually really very cool.
Yeah.
And then like another thing is like you have the internet taking something very innocent and making it horrifying. Like when it was Grimace's birthday. And
Oh
they had
yeah.
like the Grimace milkshake, and like people were like posting. It was so stupid, but some of those videos were actually really well done.
Yeah.
And like it would take like them drinking it and then cutting to them dead, covered in the milkshake. That's really cool, I think.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like back when like Sonic.exe and Ben Drown was popular.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
the creepypastas, and
Yeah.
when that was a big thing. Remember when Slender Man was the big thing?
Yeah.
Well, like during that era, honestly, the way I was introduced to like horror, like actual horror, like I was introduced to Nightmare at Elm Street pretty young, but like that was more of a slasher. I wasn't actually scared during it.
Yeah.
SCP. I don't know if you've ever gone into SCP websites.
I've never gone deep into them, but I know just a little bit about it.
I find them spooky. I find
Yeah.
them terrifying. Well, it's just they all commit so much to the like, I guess, role play aspect of it.
Which is honestly really cool, and I wish they did that more. That's why I love when some horror films make it feel real, like the Blair Witch Project. They had like fake news sites, they had fake interviews, and people thought it was real, Like they genuinely thought that it was actually found footage and everything, which is amazing. And they're starting to they're doing that a little bit now with a new movie coming out. I'm not 100% sure.
Wasn't it something with the crows?
No, but it's something with children disappearing at 2:17 a.m. and then they show like a lot of found footage of like security cameras watching children like run away, and they're all like silent, and it's really eerie, and I'm really excited for this movie because it looks so interesting.
My favorite thing is like the opposite of what we've been talking about, something that it should be scary but isn't.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. I love when something tries to be scary and isn't. It's honestly way more funny than
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Don't you ever say that about Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That is a terrifying show and it is amazing.
Oh yeah, like when they.
Well, honestly, the clowns are kind of terrifying. The effects that they have and the sound effects that the clowns use, like their laugh is horrifying.
They're scary, and it's a perfect movie. It is a perfect movie.
Okay.
It is a perfect movie all the way through.
So Brady, as what were you saying?
Oh, yeah, like the cotton candy, whatever.
The cotton candy guns.
Yeah. How like whenever they cut open like the cotton candy things and there was just like red bloody people.
Yeah, it's just like a bloody mess, and because like the clowns trap them in these cocoons and like wait a little while until they're like plump and nice to drink, which is
yummy.
Yummers.
Yummer.
The Boys, that's scary.
The Boys is like
actually scary.
Horrifying. Like you have this big idol who's like a Superman to you, and then you see this horrible dark side to him as he brutally murders people. It's
just so
wild.
Real. I don't know if I don't know if I would call it scary. It just feels real. It feels like,
and
that's sad.
Reality is sometimes horrifying.
Yeah.
And like I like films that have just an off-putting feel about them. Or I like movies that start off like there's a very few but feel like a nice like rom-com type movie at the beginning and then take up straight into horror. Like one that I've talked a little bit about before on the show is Fresh, when this woman meets a very handsome man in a grocery store, and it turns out that he kidnaps women and like cuts off body parts and sells them on the black market.
Oh.
And it's wild. It's such a good film too. It's paced really nicely, and then once you get into the horror part, it's terrifying.
Similar to that, I'm gonna be a complete nerd right now. So there's this anime
Oh no.
called Higurashi When They Cry. Right? Starts off super cute. It's just like a slice of life anime. You're just like going through the life of this one guy named Kenji, I think. Maybe not. I might mess him up. But yeah. So you're following him through his life. He's just like going with his friends to school, just living life. Then you get to the end of the first, or the second episode, I believe, and his friend murders him and all of his other friends. Just actually, like, she takes a knife and murders everybody.
Yeah, there's
terrible.
I don't know if the episode's gonna be out at the time of recording, before this one or after, but we will have an episode mainly talking about anime with Mrs. Zimmerman, and there's one anime she talks about that is horrifying.
Uzumaki?
No. I don't want to spoil anything about it on the show because I want to wait until that episode comes out. But it is a wild ride.
Oh, that reminds me of this one anime I watched. I'm stumping on the name. But the whole plot is that it's this one woman that, I guess not a woman, she's a young woman. She's like a teenager, 17, I think. And it's about her going through, and she can see ghosts. Huh. Only she can see ghosts. Nobody else around her can see the ghosts. And she's incredibly, like, not powerful, but she is a lot more connected and in touch with spirits than the people around her. And it's about her trying to act like she can't see them, because all the ghosts know if you can see them, then they are going to kill you.
Oh.
So she has to act like she's not feeling or thinking anything, like just scrolling on her phone as a monster's like interface, like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna eat you. You can see me, can't you?
That is.
Like,
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I might want to watch that one.
Yeah.
I'll try to find the name. Yeah.
But like, there's so much.
Zach.
There's so much horror in things that you wouldn't think there would be. Like what show is it? But it's one where an episode got canceled or like taken out, but because it was such a terrifying shift in the story, and I can't remember. It was like a young kids show that a messed up, horrifying episode came out, and that they had to take off air and completely get rid of it. But like, I wish I could.
Pokemon?
No. Oh,
I think there was one episode of Pokemon that had to get taken off air because it was causing seizures.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
I think it was like
The Porygon one.
I don't know. I don't know which one it was, but I know there was one like
There's a fake like Lost Media SpongeBob one where
That's it. That's
that's
what I'm
not
thinking of.
true. That's not
It's
actually
not
like
true?
it's an actual story, but it's not like an actual Lost cartoon thing. It's like fan made.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, that kind of. But again, that's like the internet and like people taking something so like kid friendly and so childish and turning it completely like a 180 to horrifying, and which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I wish I saw more of it, because I like horror things, and I would like to see some child friendly, I don't know, characters turn violent and murderous.
Yeah, that kind of stuff like messed me up as a child, because there was this like one episode, not episode, it was like this YouTube video. It was like this Pinkie Pie thing. Oh yeah. It's like this Pinkie Pie thing where he just like goes on like a murderous rampage and like just starts killing all the ponies, and just like pulls out a chainsaw and just like starts murdering them just one by one. And
God.
yeah. And that like I was really young when I first saw that, like probably like 5.
I feel like too many children are being shown horror way before they should.
Yeah.
Which is like a main reason why I'm so much into horror, is because I was shown like Halloween and like horror movies way before I should have.
Yeah.
It's just the availability of the internet is crazy.
Yeah.
My favorite horror, just a genre as just in general, is Web 1.0 sites that are like horror Web 1.0. So it's just like those old websites that are just like really deep old, and then you find them like, oh, that's actually terrifying. Like this has been sitting here for years and years and years. Like, I'm not sure if you ever played Sonic.exe.
Huh.
I haven't played it.
It was like a horror fan game
Of Sonic.
Yeah, it was kind of like Web 1.0. It was really old, scary. Actually, like scary the bejesus out of me when I was like a 7-year-old.
Something that always interested me, which isn't really horror, but and it's also like, I'm pretty sure it's also a myth, but the Russian sleep experiment.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yes.
like there's a lot of like fake or not. I mean, it could have happened.
It was
I think
real
it
photography. It wasn't. No. It wasn't of a real person. The picture that was taken, I believe, was of an art expo that somebody did. if I remember right, or it was of an orphan that had undergone terrible, terrible conditions for a long time. It was one of the two.
Yeah, and like this story, there was a made up story about these men who got way too addicted to this drug, and when they stopped it, they ate each other, they tore bits of their flesh off, and it's something that couldn't actually happen, and like they couldn't survive what happened to them. But it's an interesting story, and it's a really cool idea.
You know, on a side tangent that's a little bit scary, that's a part of that, there was, I believe, a famous rapper, a few years ago who took PCP, very, very dangerous drug. He took it, had incredibly strong hallucinations, and ended up killing his friend and eating his lung out of his body. Yeah.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
real life. He actually did do that. He ate a piece of his lung.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And like it's wild what somebody can do under
Drugs.
just under drugs. It's
Warps your mind, your perception.
Yeah.
You think things you wouldn't think normally.
and then
Yeah.
if you take them for like a long extended time, and then you get off of them, it just affects you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, like, we all think we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't be able to do that. That's not a part of us. But, like, obviously we would because there's so many drug addicts. There's so many people that would do terrible things in order to get those drugs.
It's kind of like it's a lot close to something we talked about, or I talked about with Mr. Clark, is that you don't think you're capable of it, but you don't know until you're in the situation. It's kind of like the Stanford prison experiment.
Yes, I love the Stanford prison experiment.
It's such a Brady, do you know about the Stanford prison?
Mm-mm.
So a group of college boys were put into a simulation of a prison, and by the flip of a coin, some people were guards and some people were prisoners.
Yeah.
And the guards immediately abused their power and put the prisoners through so much torture, and it just messed up.
How long was the experiment supposed to go for? Was it 4 weeks?
It was 4 weeks, but I think it only lasted.
It got canceled on the 6th day, I believe.
Yeah.
Or the 5th day. Very early.
Yeah, it was not even a full week had passed
because
before.
at a certain point they so the first day or so was fairly calm, like a little bit of what would you call it? Like
Abuse of
emotional-
power.
Yeah, a little bit of like just being a little too rough, like verbally, and then by the 6th day they were physically beating some of the prisoners. They made one prisoner 8612, I believe, have a mental break. He actually went crazy, saying he wanted to hurt himself, kill people around him. Like,
Yeah, it was
terrible.
It was a messed up experiment that right off the bat just derailed.
Yeah. Back to like drugs and psychedelics. Have you ever heard of the Devil's Snare? It was originally it was just a house plant that they didn't realize had side effects, and it was originally in the 1950s. It was like a tea thing that that housewives would put in their tea to like take the edge off. But if you take like the specific seeds, you'll have like really visual hallucinations, and you're not supposed to take more than one, or else like bad things could happen. But several people took more than one, and one person that took 3 of them went from being in Michigan, I believe, to Arizona. Just woke up in Arizona.
Crazy.
They don't even know how they got there. They just woke up in the middle of a cornfield, or not cornfield, in the middle of like a field in Arizona.
What drug was it?
The Devil's Snare, I believe.
Huh.
That's interesting.
That is really wild.
Huh.
But I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much, Brady, for coming on.
You're welcome.
I've been Logan Loya,
I've been Zachary Finlayson.
and you've been listening to Terror
Terror
Talk.
Talk.